Coming from larger universities, I knew immediately that we needed to bring up our academic unit. We needed to have an academic center where student athletes could come and study and feel like it was really an area for them, especially in the area of recruiting. Your academic center plays a huge role, not just for the student athletes, but also the parents. And that was something JU didn't have at the time. So I thought it best to bring that as soon as possible. That way we could be up there in the big leagues, if you will, in terms of recruiting and academic support. When I first came here, I did a walkthrough of the building, and I said this would be an ideal space because it wasn't used at all. And teaming up with Alex Gilbert, our Associate AD of Compliance and StudentAthlete Services, we thought it best that this should be that space because we did not have one. It literally took a walkthrough with him and then a walkthrough with Dr. Horner, our Chief Athletics Officer, and when we realized that this is going to be our space. And we had a timeline set for spring of 16, so it was amazing that it's already starting to develop as early as this past spring, which was huge, and I just look forward to see what's coming for the fall of 15, actually.
I think it's very beneficial because, Lauren has a background of working with, StudentAthlete Services at other big universities, and I have the experience of being a student athlete at, similar smaller universities, and then working at kind of like the same size university. So my vision is kind of being on the inside of a student athlete's head. So thinking of how they think of, what they think about study table, what do they think about tutoring, what do they benefit from the resources, kind of the resources that I benefited from and the resources that I didn't get that I would like to install here at JU. So I think that vision right there of former student athlete knowing the ins and outs and now being on the other side gives me a great upper hand to help our department grow and develop.
I think the fact that we have the space so close to their coaches makes it a lot easier for coaches to pull them if they need them, and vice versa. If they're in a meeting with a coach, I can walk over to the coach's office and just say, hey, come stop by, we need to talk academics. It's easy to have this one athletic building where we're all held because it's a space where the student athletes know this is where I come for my coaching, this is where I come to meet with my academic advisor, and this is where I come for all student athlete support areas. When I first arrived, we did not have a space. So our student athletes were studying on their own in their rooms and not really getting that time that they needed. And just looking at the GPA comparisons, if you will, from the fall of 14 to the spring, our overall team GPAs went from a 2.9 to above a 3.1, which is a huge advancement just within a given semester change. And that in itself speaks volumes. All of our teams increased their overall GPAs from the fall of 14 through the spring of 15. And larger teams, even such as that of football, went from 2.5 GPAs to a 2.89 GPA, which is huge for a football program, even of our magnitude.
I think it's growing. When I first came here, there were no tables or chairs and no computers, so now we have all of those things. As we continue to, get the vision there and the mindset, little things keep coming, every week or every month. Compared to other academic centers at this level, Division I, kind of AA schools, I think we're headed in the right direction of what we need. Nothing too big, nothing too small, just the right area for the amount of student athletes that we have. And we want to provide, first of all, the resources, and then kind of spruce it up with a little decor and, a lounge and things like that, just to make it more homey when they come in for people that are not just in study hall. Like I said, it's a student athlete center, so they can come in and use the computers, get books from our library, things like that. So I think we're headed in the right direction to stay at the level of competition for people in our conference and at this level.
The biggest thing is I want to continue to amplify what we're doing for our student athletes. We started off with 5 desks and not even enough chairs to seat the amount of student athletes that we have. And now we have enough to sit 50 in a given area. We have 4 desktops, 6 laptops, and we're expecting another 20 additional laptops to come. We're going to do a group study area, in which case we can have group studying taking place, if you will. We'll have whiteboards where they can do kinesiology projects, biology projects, statistics, math, so on and so forth. So it's just continuing that development to increase positive education. Outside of that, we have to have a little fun. All the universities I've been to, they've had a StudentAthlete Lounge. And we've taken it up a notch, and speaking with Dr. Horner, he believes that we should do the same here for JU, in which case right outside of our double doors, which will also have swipe access, so the student athletes can come and go as they please, and it will just be a space for the student athletes, we'll have a lounge area. that will have a television playing ESPN and whatever is going on in our local news, but just a place where the student athletes can go so they can know it's not always about business. We can have a little bit of fun too, because we need that balance, if you will, to stay motivated and be active in the classroom. We expect to have quite a bit more by fall 15. We're still working on the laptops and just the doors and our swipe access. The goal is to have laptops and swipe access before the start of fall 15 on August 24th. And that's just because we will have a lot more students coming into this area, since we'll be bringing it out of the library. All of our tutoring services will still take place there, but study hall will move to this building primarily. That way we can just keep track of exactly what's going on, and we'll see anywhere from 10 to 40 plus student athletes in this area. So we want to make sure we have that swipe access before fall 15, and we'll just continue to monitor it that way. Other than that, we'll also have grades first, which is huge. It's almost having another person on staff, in which case we'll be able to log hours, track study hall, track tutoring, monitor tutoring, and just make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Another facet, which I'm really proud and excited about, is that we're going to have the ASUN StudentAthlete Services assistant on board, and they'll start as soon as August 1. Applications are coming in steadily right now. We're just really excited to have another member of our team who can help out, considering we have well over 400 plus student athletes. So it's nice to bring on not only grades first eventually, but that other actual body here that will help student athletes not only during the daytime hours, but at nighttime. They'll be here to monitor study hall just to make sure it's running smoothly and people aren't goofing off. Our SACs, so if you will, it's our Student Athlete Advisory Committee. We never really had a place where we could meet, where we could have full numbers on board, and now that we have this unit, we're able to bring in 30 to 40 students, provide meals for them and everything when we have our meetings. That's one area. Second piece is that I love seeing the student athletes come in here and actually utilizing the facility, and that to me is a tangible item, if you will, from the beginning. Whether they are using it just to come watch YouTube videos or just to do anything, as long as they have a space where they can come to feel like they're actually getting away. I work with men's basketball, and a lot of the times you hear, Lord, I'm just glad we have a space to not be near coaches. So it's nice to actually have a space that they enjoy outside of academics, once again, where they can come and sit down and relax, and then at the end of the day, be about business, where their GPAs will increase, where their grades will increase, and where they feel like they're actually getting something out of JU.
I think they're very appreciative of everything we've done. You know, there's been, a little resistance with, study table and our AEP meetings, but the coaches, they've loved it. The results show the GPA's been higher in the spring than it was in the fall. The student athletes are liking the center now. Even though it isn't as big as we want it to be, they like that they can come here and work on the computers, and they like that we provide them tutors. They just like that we're here now to provide that support, whether it be just talking to them about life, or going to their games, or just having questions that they can't reach maybe their regular academic advisor. They can come to us and we can answer those same questions for them. So I think they're very appreciative of us being here and the support services that we've been offering this spring.
They really like the fact that this is a place where they are technically the only people allowed here, and I can attest to that, to the fact that I've unfortunately had to kick some non-student athletes out just because we want it to be a space where our student athletes can focus, because they all are on pretty much the same schedules academically and athletically. So they love just having this area where they can come, do work, and they use the word grind, because that's actually what they're doing in their day-to-day.